Good afternoon. It's the afternoon in the UK. We'll be talking to somebody who's enjoying the dusk, the twilight, the gloaming in Dubai. Things here in the UK with COVID are weird. It feels more like a curfew nowadays than it seems a lockdown. But enough of that. Let's go straight to my honoured guest, Kuram Shroff, a gentleman that I got drunk with once at an awards, and we had a very merry time, as I remember. Karam has been in this game since the start. Since the Genesis block, he has been here. He comes from a prestigious family who's very, very versed in old ways of money, but has been one of the earliest adopters, and in my opinion, one of the more interesting people. So, Karam, welcome to Blockspeak. How are you up in your Tower block?
Amazing. Thank you so much, Monty. It's been a very interesting time, and I'm blessed to be alive and see so much hurtfulness by everyone around us, because Dubai and we are a very sizable holiday home or hospitality business. And currently with the lockdown and the travel, it is a very trying times, and we've having to let go of a lot of people in the hospitality industry, and my heart goes out to them.
You've had to lay people off.
Yes, lots of them, because there's no point on sustaining staff while you're getting zero income or revenue coming in.
Yeah. So you must be highly exposed in that area then, if there are closed malls and closed apartment blocks. What about Airbnb? Well, it must be a nightmare.
Oh yeah, we have over 500 plus five-star hotels, resorts, Palm apartment buildings. We have around 250,000 properties in the freehold area. Airbnb, one of the top destinations for Airbnb was Dubai, but the call from the ruler came in that we will come back stronger and faster than any place in the world. And we have Emirates Airlines ready to start operation within a 24-hour notice. And so we feel within 16 months to 2 years, we should see some sort of normality in global travel.
I've got a feeling that I'm not in a rush to get on a plane at the moment. I'm not scared about the disease. I think I've had it, and it lasted quite a long time afterwards. You know what I mean? But bring it to Emirates. I mean, one of my last kind of travels was Emirates, business class, which was better than BA first class. And boarding the plane from the lounge is something that I'll never forget. That was probably the height of my opulence ever since then. But I get the feeling that maybe there'll be deals between countries, right? So the UK, a lot of people come to Dubai. There might be a corridor where you can fly directly from London to Dubai without any nonsense. And there'll be kind of corridors that cross each other that we think you're safe, we think you're safe. I think there'll be a lot of space for creativity, I suppose. But you sound optimistic.
Yes, and I was feeling really down and non-optimistic. But, I was told by a very good friend of mine that, you're not God, right? And you need to have faith in yourself and faith in your people that you're letting go, that they will be okay and they will find their way, right? And, so that was a very interesting turning point is that we have to have faith in ourselves and our fellow associates, friends, and people, that they will, be okay.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, my wife was about to be made managing director of a travel company 2 months ago. Good luck with that one. I think, she's had to furlough people, and I know a lot of people have had to lay off people up to, But we've had a huge amount of support here from the British government, rightly or wrongly, like they call it furloughing. They've now extended it for another 4 months, 80%. It's basically nationalising wages. It's crazy. Anyone could have an opinion on that, what is money. do you think that with your, we'll go into your Bitcoin experience and your thoughts on Bitcoin in essence, I suppose. But do you think this kind of printing of money it makes any sense at all?
Oh, if it does, if it brings confidence back. So when it's not the reason. The reason we are printing the money all around the world, every single government is printing money, is to get confidence back, to get people back, or for people to have a sense of security, that basically they have their minimum needs met for, so they'll be okay, right? And they need to bring, and it's basically a black hole pit. They can keep on printing as much money as possible, starting with the US. So there's no limit in terms of their ability to get money into the hands of people. But unfortunately, I feel that the money is not trickling down fast enough, right? Talking to different chairmen of bank out of Switzerland, and and everyone seems to be turtling. So it is stopping this chain of money being able to go around, so that they can buy groceries or they can effectively get essential. So it's a very interesting time where there is enough money and enough food in the world, and we're gonna face, gigantic phantoms and gigantic, job losses and gigantic financial
Yeah.
stress on people at all levels, right? And that's basically because the people who are getting access to the money are breaking that chain of trust,
Yeah.
and they're doing it from their sense of personalizing security, personalizing financial security,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
We're supposed to be 6 meals away from anarchy anyway. Just
Yeah.
quickly as that. So
I
that
don't think
sounds.
anarchy will happen, Monty, because of the fact that the government has stepped in and they're starting to print enough money that will hopefully be able to sustain people for now, like in the UK, for another 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely.
it's going to be a test and trial.
Yeah. Well. We could. Um, let's go. Let's go over to Bitcoin. I've found it quite amusing that Bitcoin has proved to be reasonably stable during this period of volatility and turmoil. The stock exchange is going down and then rebounding a lot quicker than I think a lot of people thought. So, as a man of finance and clearly, family legacy and a huge amount of investments around the world, you've benefited from capitalism and you've benefited all round, I would imagine. Although you're a nice man in the worry that you have for the people you've let go. So why did someone like you get interested in Bitcoin when kind of things were all right where you were?
Well, if you remember, financial crisis 2008, we were sitting like this at the same time, looking at what's happening to all the bank stocks and Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns and so many different financial institutions either going down or asking for bailouts. Property prices plummeted. Mortgage-backed securities just completely vanished. Everyone foreclosing. There were thousands and thousands of houses for sale signs out there. The last financial crisis,
And
and
people,
that's when
there was all that stuff about UK and foreign residents leaving their car at the airport and then just running off. I mean,
yes, in Dubai there was a situation where people just left Ferraris, Lambos, all their assets here and just left because it deteriorated in value so much so quickly. And even though it happened a few months later than North America, so while I remember the crisis happening in the US and Canada and even part of the UK, and then we were still fine here in Dubai and the rest of the world, and it took like a few months for us to realize, you know, holy moly.
Yeah, well, that's holy moly is probably the least of it. Absolutely. But see,
Bitcoin was born.
yes,
Bitcoin was born at that time.
yes. But
So it was a way. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, it's my fault. It's a bit of a lag here. So your interest in Bitcoin was purely because of the financial recession in 2008, or give me the story.
Yes, financial recession in 2008. At the same time, M-Pesa had launched a peer-to-peer network in Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
where people can send money to from a wallet or a phone to another phone without including the bank and the bank charges in that whole process, started by two 19-year-old guys. And then it was growing very fast, and now today, I mean, it's bigger than any bank, and it
Yeah.
controls more money than I mean, you got 22 million people exchanging money from person to person, and banks are just like on the sideline looking at what to do. The banks are literally just buying the government treasuries, and that's all they've got to do now, because it's such a big disruption. Anyways, on M-Pesa, there was M-Pesa, plus there was, demise of a lot of financial institutions where monies got blocked, uh, uh, n- uh, including Bank of Credit and Commerce International, called BCCI, which was
India.
which was a huge bank, based globally, and so a lot of funds got blocked of the family, depending different stuff. So this was a very unique way of us to have a parallel system to exchange, basically exchange gold. That is why
Yeah.
basically Bitcoin had 21 million Bitcoin will ever get made by 2150. Right? So the whole idea was that the Bitcoin would hold a value like gold holds a value, sort of like digital gold.
Yeah.
And that went off the roof because it never never correlated to the price of gold. I mean, even today, gold price is what, $1,600,
Yeah.
$1,700, and Bitcoin price is over 9,000. So.
Yeah.
But the idea was, how can we rid ourselves from this entire banking system? And that's why we got interested in, you know, those guys at that time. And then the whole world changed as soon as the pricing started to go up, as soon as more and more people got involved. Then usage of it got involved more on the dark web. Uh, and then usability was not there. It was very complicated to transfer from person to person. Um, and 10 years later, we are here. 10 years is not a long time. Um, and it's been a very interesting ride.
But you have one of the world's largest collections of Bitcoins. Is that correct?
Well, we don't have one of the world's largest. We have maybe in the middle tier, under 100,000 Bitcoins, a specific number, which correlates with God is great.
Allah
And that's one of the reasons I got nominated as top 100 most influential Muslims in the UK and around the world, over the CEO of Credit Suisse, was because I was working on the future of finance, and hint, hint, Bitcoin at that time was $20,000.
Yeah, yeah.
So it just became like, what just happened, right? And it's been it's a very interesting situation to liquidate the Bitcoins, and exchanges came up, like our friend CZ from Binance.
Yeah.
I mean, become one of the world's largest exchanges with over $1 billion of volume per day.
But with that kind of sub 100,000 Bitcoins, which is an extraordinary number anyway. So that means there's a multiple amount of wallets. Does that mean that, I mean, it sounds very complicated, but can you liquidate your Bitcoin assets now if you want? And if so, how can you do it? And because there's a lot of kind of controversy about OTC and all that. Can you explain that a little bit more in detail, please?
Sure. Well, what do you call it? Disclaimer: I've never done um, um, stuff that is illegal, and I've always done it in jurisdiction where it was allowed.
Agreed.
And
Okay.
I basically assisted people to do it, so it doesn't come back to me at all in any way. But the way OTC means over the counter, means person to person,
Peer to
and
peer.
that's peer to peer, and that's the whole concept of Bitcoin, was to be peer to peer. We were trying to take out the middleman.
And taking your inspiration from M-Pesa in Kenya.
In Kenya.
Yeah.
And the
Amazing.
whole concept was if I wanted to sell Monty $10, I would give you $10 of Bitcoin, and you would give me $10 of other value. Maybe you could give me some consultation on my beard, right? Whatever that exchange of value was, right? And then you would use that value, and you would do it with that as you deem fit, or hold it. And while you hold it, it should keep or stabilize a value, which would be the value of the gold.
Yes, yes.
Because of the fact that there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins on Earth.
So if someone is trying to sell less than, say, 50,000 Bitcoins, they're going to get charged the earth to do so, or is it impossible to get rid of that many?
No, it's not impossible. It's been done before. So what happens is usually a bank-to-bank transaction. There are multiple friends, such as Bitcoin Swiss out of Switzerland, which can do crypto finance. There are a bunch of people. Even the top banks can monetize that type of Bitcoin, and But it's not only about monetizing the Bitcoin, because then you have to take care about the jurisdiction you're doing it in.
Yeah.
Then you have to take care of the taxes, because Bitcoin, if you bought it at, first Bitcoin, we got it literally for free or under 30 cents, 32 cents.
Line.
And so, yeah, I mean, if you sell it at 20,000, you've made a profit of 19,700, depending on the jurisdiction you are. It could be deemed as a capital investment or a capital gains or tax or income tax, depending on when and what and how. So that is important. Then also the source of the funds that are coming to you is important, right? Depending on, you're not stuck in any sort of country where the government of another country are not allowing trade or finance for any perspective. So it's a very complicated sort of situation, depending on which jurisdiction you are and how much money you want to give to the tax man.
So it's kind of the controversy about OTC scams. How does that? What's your opinion on that?
So OTC is very different from OTC scams.
Right. Okay.
So that's basically saying, over the counter market. So over the counter equals peer to peer.
Yes.
Right. So OTC scams would be considered peer to peer scams, like person to person scams, right?
And they seem to be a bit of a thing, or not.
Yes, huge thing, especially in places like India and Pakistan and Bangladesh and China and Africa.
Yeah.
Because what people did was went to lots of people. We lost so much Bitcoin through that. People came, said we are the largest miners, or we can trade a lot, and we can basically make you money on the Bitcoin. And then they would take 10 Bitcoins. They will take 10 Bitcoins worth of local currency, and then tell them that, oh, we bought 10 Bitcoin for you. And then they would be trading that Bitcoin, and they would be giving back the person a little bit of money, right? So literally like a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
And there are guys who got like billions of dollars of Bitcoin or billions of dollars of money
Yeah.
from people and disappeared or died or, etc. And this all over the news. I mean, you can see the amount of what do you call negligence or what do you call immaturity by these investors who just said, okay, let's give them this much. And especially if someone's giving you 10 Bitcoin,
Yeah.
They're least likely to come back because they got a lot more.
Yeah.
They're very least likely to come back. It's the people who are giving you 1 Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin are the people who are giving you a very important part of their value ecosystem. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
you're talking about immaturity. I mean, I was a victim of a hack, 18 months ago. So I lost 163 ether. I mean, I was. Oh, fuck! I don't want. I wrote about it for the BBC. I've lost it. Goodbye. But I suppose, and I got a bit scared of crypto a couple of years ago, right? Because of that, I was burned. I'm not a particularly rich guy, and all that stuff. It seems to me that are we seeing improvement in the security of Bitcoin and crypto? Have things improved over the last 2 years, or are they just different scams now? They go through your wallet.
So the hack of it is, where did you have your ether? Was it in a exchange wallet? Was it in a cold wallet?
It was in my ether wallet, and I was a complete idiot. I put my private key in my Gmail drafts, split it up into, and then someone said, "You idiot! Someone could just scan."
So it's like we say
don't
open up the house and
leave the keys here. But
come in, right? And that is very because there's this whole concept of black hackers and white hackers, nice hackers and bad hackers and ethical hackers and etc. And they prowl on people like yourself who don't necessarily know how to follow the protocol of
correct
crypto, and that's fine. I mean, we're at the end of the day, we're human. We learn and live. So next time you get, any amount of ether, you give me the private key.
But in answer to my question, and apart from the fact that I'm an idiot and you've kicked a man when he was down, we'll forget that one. The question is, do you think the security? I mean, maybe a slightly different question.
Security is very good, but the usability or the understanding on how to keep your thing is secure. Because see, you got to remember, it was started by like one person with a group of like-minded people around him, right? And they never had an objective to make money, right? Their objective was purely to secure the money. So your money, if it's a Bitcoin, it's very secure.
Mm-hmm.
It is just the fact that you are losing your password, like keeping the cash and dropping the cash, then it's very hard for them to revert it back because you need to literally take the control of 51% of the computing power of Bitcoin to be able to reverse it. So your Ethereum could be reversed. You would have to take 51% control of Ethereum, talk to Vitalik, and and then you would be able to reverse the transaction back.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought they were immutable.
They are immutable unless you take control of the entire ecosystem.
Well, I'm trying to get Vitalik on the show. Maybe you can get me my money back.
Maybe
that would be the best interview I've ever done.
I think you should get Stellar guys on the phone on this. Stellar and Ripple guys, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'd be a good.
It's nice watching the night sky come up in the background. It's like proper live event. So are you under curfew now?
Yes, not right now until 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock, we're not in curfew. It's a sanitization effort where they're sanitizing the roads and the facility. And we're not allowed to go outside the house after 10 o'clock. And the city is opening. I mean, we're sitting right next to the longest marina walk with all the yachts and, beautiful sunset on the Arabian Ocean. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. And I note that you're doing something I haven't done for 2 months, and that's smoking a
Yeah.
beautiful cigarette.
I
Oh
need to
my
quit
God.
that.
Oh, I don't know if you
Quit
could.
that. We're
Oh,
gonna edit that out of this recording.
you're killing me. Okay. I
So
had a
OTC, getting back to
yeah,
OTC. So OTC means how was usually in the beginning of the crypto in 2008, 10, 11, 12, there was really no exchanges except one called Mt. Gox, started by the founder of Ripple and the founder of Stellar, Mr. jean-michel, and then he passed it on to another buddy who took it to another, and then the whole government issues, etc., happened. But the only way for you to be able to sell a Bitcoin was to be able to find a willing buyer.
yeah,
The willing buyer, you would want something from them. Either you would want fiat currency from them, or you would want a pizza, or whatever you would want from them, but you needed them to understand how to accept it, download a wallet, etc., etc., and keep the public key, private key separate with the,
yeah,
etc. You'd have to teach them all of this stuff. So uh, it was involved in a very techie guys. So, the other guy would be like, okay, download this wallet, hey, test it out, and hey, I'm sending you this much Bitcoin, right?
hmm
Why don't you test it out, right? So that's how it was happening. So all the transactions were happening peer to peer. And the whole idea was, you give me Bitcoin, I'll give you a certain value. Then it turned into this whole huge OTC markets and OTC brokers and OTC people who basically facilitated trading of Bitcoin or fiat amongst people.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then started this whole OTC scams where the brokers decided, instead of us trading, we should just keep the money and we should just keep the Bitcoin and just run away, or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
Uh,
and very
you-
trusting people.
But is that increasing, or has it peaked? That type of fraud? Do you think?
Well, I think that fraud, people have an inherent greed in them,
Mm.
and these Ponzi scammers, be it in any industry or crypto, are very prey on the naive, right?
Yeah,
And you can find a lot of naive people in the crypto world because they don't know anything except that the fact that they've got a Bitcoin. They don't know anything about the technology. They don't know how it works. They don't know anything about it. They just know, oh, we have, a certain amount of Bitcoin in this wallet, right?
yeah,
And they're just holding it as a store of value. So it's a very there's a lot of prey available in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
crypto world, and people take a small risk in the crypto world, and then they lose it, and then they don't want to do anything with crypto. They're like, okay, I don't
Yeah,
want
that's
anything
yeah,
to do
yeah.
with crypto, right? Because I lost this much money, and it's like this: you gave cash to someone, you can't cry on the fact that you gave cash away. It's like a
No,
very
no, no, absolutely. Well, I mean,
a
there's
very good praying market for the thing. But OTC transaction means if you are selling uh, Bitcoin to someone and you're taking either cash from them or property, even like Emar here in Dubai is willing to exchange property for Bitcoin, or willing to sell property in Bitcoin.
is that really? That's
Yes.
wow.
Yeah. So
That's. I mean, that's amazing. Wow. I'm a bit lost for words there. So we're going to have some quick fire questions at the end. I mean, I could talk to you for hours.
so,
Love to have a beer. Go on, smoke another cigarette, enjoy
yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We cannot drink alcohol. It's a Ramadan.
Of
We can
course.
smoke cigarettes
Uh,
after starting.
so have you had to, as kind of a man of like kind of legacy money or a family that have done things the traditional way, have you had to kind of convince a lot of people in your kind of métier about Bitcoin? Have you do you
Oh my God, Monty, that's like a bag of worms.
yeah,
Even my uncles, who are chairmen of huge, massive banking institutions across the world, they still don't understand Bitcoin.
You're kidding
My
me.
mom still thinks it's illegal. Warren Buffett thinks it's a store of fear.
Yeah.
China just made it legal tender, or is thinking of making cryptocurrency legal tender. Some people think it's unknown. Some people think it is, people are just shocked. This is a number. This is a
Yeah.
number in the air. How can that number in the air have value? Nothing is backing it up. There is no central body that controls anything. It's beyond an understanding, because we have been groomed since childhood to understand the banking system, understand the economic system, which, the 1% or the small portion forced on. We've been educated, so we cannot necessarily think that, this whole concept of barter. You give me an hour of your time, and let me give you an hour of my time, or give you food.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's like, you give me an hour time, I'll give you X amount of dollars. You want food from me, you give me X amount of dollars, I'll give you food.
Yeah.
What happened? We just take the money aspect, we just trade directly. And that was the original concept of Bitcoin. I mean, we still got 140 years left. It's just been 10.
Yeah, but I mean, I've always been a fan of barter anyway, or currencies to me are not necessarily cash or money. It's like a conversation can be worth, a home. It's
And any currency, for example, US dollar or Canadian dollar, is what? It's backed by the government, or backed by the people of the government, right? So it is basically backed by nothing. It's backed by people. So everything is people. So OTC is the key. But the world changed to become these exchanges, and these exchanges started charging money for cryptocurrencies to get listed on the exchange, up to $10 million to list yourself on an exchange. And then exchange created their own tokens, and it has been then there's so many frauds in the exchange, like the Canada's largest exchange. I mean, almost how many? About 200,000 wallet holders, and a gentleman disappeared in India, and supposedly had a death certificate. And there's 250,000, about 250 million or $500 million worth of crypto missing. And they were all put in these mixers. So mixers are these small portion of all other Bitcoin, which are mashed up with small portion of other Bitcoin to make a one Bitcoin. So you can never figure out AML or KYC, where the history of that specific Bitcoin, right?
Crazy. It would be quite ironic if that guy did fake his death and then he died of COVID. That would be quite weird, wouldn't it? Sorry. Should have said that. Okay, a couple of quick fire questions. I can speak to you all day, man. I mean, I'd love to. Price of, we've had the halving. We've had the kind of baked in profits that people have made on Bitcoin. What's the price of Bitcoin at the end of 2020, end of 2021, in your opinion?
I think it will at least double in value, because if you look at history, it's always done that. Plus, now we have a fear. Everyone is so fearful at looking at each other. And, if Warren Buffett is saying it's a store of fear, then this price is going off the roof, right? Even though he doesn't believe in Bitcoin, but he said it's a store of fear. This is before COVID. Before COVID. Now he's probably thinking like, holy.
Oh God, I'm laughing about COVID. God, I don't think I've done that. Oh dear, fake Toshi, think that's all a load of bollocks?
No, I think, everyone is trying to create their own implementation of what happened. All of them were maybe involved at that time. Maybe they created new coins. It's basically, it's like a kid's play area. Nothing is wrong, according to me, unless you are hurting someone else's financial well-being who really cannot afford to be hurt, right? that is where I believe that the industry needs to mature up, because we're in a playground.
Yeah.
It's a 10-year-old industry. What can you expect from a 10-year-old boy? Right?
Yeah. What do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite altcoin to play with in the playground?
Yeah, I love all of them. All of them are my friends, but all the top guys, Ethereum, EOS, Ripple, Stellar. You know, Stellar's got Lumens. So I mean, I like all of them, and I have tried to support as many guys as possible, without them sometimes even knowing that I'm helping them,
Yeah.
by either funding them or buying their coins or etc. Because I wanted to be like a shadow of hope
Yeah. All
to
right.
the or to these guys who were all trying to do something, right? But then it became very weird. I mean, every company was trying to set up a huge like marketing network and taking money from everyone and etc. etc. You got to remember, Bitcoin was done by one person. I mean, it's like 5 lines of code. I mean, it's not that complicated. I can create a blockchain for you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, call it
Absolutely.
Monty Coin. In fact, you should do that. You should do a Blockspeak coin.
Do you know what? What a great idea. Do you know what? That's a great idea. Why
Yeah.
not? Listen, man, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. I know that you're safe where you are and your family are safe.
Thank you,
That's
my
the
dear.
most important thing. Good to see that Dubai is moving again. Thank you for all the insight into OTC. That was really interesting. I think a lot of our audience will respect that. Would love to have you on again later on in the year if that works. I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. I agree, my friend. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Monty
Peace be
Mumford
on
here.
you, my brother.
Peace be upon you. Also, Monty Mumford here from Blockspeak. Just been interviewing the wonderful Karan Shroff, telling us all about Bitcoin, the early days of Bitcoin, OTC, and everything. We'll be publishing this probably on Wednesday. Please share everywhere. Stay safe and have a nice day, evening, morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.